Listen, if Burnt Out had a face this week, it'd be mine. I'm trying to be that girl, but my energy said, try again tomorrow. You can't pour from an empty cup, but you can refill it. So this week I hit a wall. You know, the kind in between productivity and peace. Now, don't get me wrong. I love creating content, but I hate when my peace gets lost in the process. That moment when you're clocked in physically, but your soul said, we clocked out hours ago. So I had to remind myself, resting isn't quitting, it's recharging. Honestly, I had to check myself. I'm so used to going nonstop that when I sit down for 5 minutes, I feel guilty. Like, why do we act like we have to earn rest? Sometimes doing nothing is the most productive thing you can do. So now I'm learning to build rest into my routine instead of waiting until I crash. Like, if I can schedule meetings and content deadlines, why can't I schedule me a time to just breathe? You know, it's wild how much I show up for myself when I stop treating peace like it's a reward and start treating it like it's part of the plan, because it is. Because here's the truth. When I pour into myself, everything else flows better. My content is better. My designs hit harder. I show up as the version of me I actually like. Rest isn't a break from work. It's what makes work possible. Okay, so here's what I realized. Burnout doesn't happen because we're lazy. It happens because we keep pushing without pausing. So I started using this little system to get myself back together. Nothing too crazy, just 3 non-negotiables that keep me from falling apart. Step 1, reset your space. Not the whole house, just one surface. Desk, couch, nightstand. If my environment feels chaotic, my brain does too. Step 2, reset your body. Water, a stretch, a walk outside, even 5 minutes helps more than scrolling for an hour. Step 3, reset your expectations. Everything doesn't need to be done today. Pick one priority. The rest can wait, because when everything feels urgent, nothing gets done. Burnout isn't a character flaw. It's a signal. And instead of ignoring it, I'm choosing to respond with grace. Have you ever sat down to get things done and your brain just hits you with, actually, no? You look at your computer screen and suddenly everything has become urgent, except the task that you actually needed to do. My brain was like, we could be productive, or we could procrastinate with passion. And that's when I realized I wasn't overwhelmed because I had too much to do. I was overwhelmed because I was trying to do it all by myself, all at once. That's when I decided I only need to do one thing. So instead of trying to do everything all at once, I picked one thing that I could do right now to make me feel lighter. Not perfect, but lighter. And 9 times out of 10, the first step is me clearing my space. Because when my space is clean, my mind stops yelling. And that's the thing. Burnout doesn't always mean a full overhaul of your life. Sometimes it just needs one small win. I'm done glamorizing hustle with no peace. I'm choosing slow, I'm choosing steady, and most of all, I'm choosing me. Protecting my energy like it's a bill I have to pay. So I cleared my space, but my mind still had 40 tabs running. Like, go figure, right? And that's when it hit me. My space was cluttered, but so was my thoughts. Cluttered space equals cluttered mind. I needed to clean my mental desktop too. So I brain dumped everything swirling in my head. Instead of trying to do everything, I wrote down what really matters and gave myself permission to ignore the rest. Priority over everything. I used to aim for productive. Now I aim for peaceful. When you lead with peace, productivity always follows. That's why peace is part of the plan now. Because burnout doesn't come from doing too much. Burnout comes from doing too much of the things that doesn't matter. Peace is greater than productivity. Once I protected my energy, my focus came back. This is the part where things start to flow again. What I actually do to reset. When everything starts to feel loud, my thoughts, my to-dos, my expectations, I pause. I make something warm, not to be productive, but to slow myself down. I do a little window shopping, unless I'm spending someone else's money, because spending mine is stressful. And then I stretch or do a little happy dance. When burnout sneaks up on me, I used to push harder. Now I'm realizing the most productive thing I can do is pause. Here are 3 things I do that completely resets my energy. Step outside for 60 seconds. Drink water intentionally, not chugging it at your desk. Do one thing slowly on purpose, like folding a blanket or washing dishes. When burnout hits, my thoughts get loud, so I rewrite them. Instead of, I don't have time to rest, I write, rest gives me clarity. Instead of, I need to catch up, I say, I'm moving at my pace. I started asking myself a question at the end of the day. Did I show up for myself or just my to-do list? When the answer keeps being the to-do list, that's when burnout creeps in. Did I breathe? Did I eat sitting down? Did I speak kindly to myself? At the end of the day, balance isn't something that you find. It's something you choose, sometimes over and over again. Once I stepped away from my desk, I realized something. Burnout was not just about being tired. It was about being disconnected. Disconnected from my joy, from clarity, from myself. I used to think productivity meant constantly doing something. Now I'm learning it means doing the right things at the right pace. Because let's be honest, we don't burn out from doing too much. We burn out from doing too much of what doesn't matter. So I asked myself a question. What would happen if I showed up from a place of peace instead of pressure? And that shifted everything. Here's what's helping me right now. Not hacks, not routines, just awareness. When I'm overwhelmed, I pause. When I'm tired, I rest. When I'm inspired, I move. No guilt, no explaining. I don't need to prove how hard I'm working. My peace is proof that I'm doing it right. I used to normalize chaos. Now I normalize rest. If you're here watching this, maybe this is your reminder too. You don't have to earn rest. You have to honor yourself enough to take it. Rest is productive. Balance isn't a destination. It's a daily decision. So here's what I realized. Balance is not something that you find and randomly keep. It's something you choose over and over and over again, even on the messy days. I don't have everything figured out, but I know that I am done hustling myself into exhaustion. Quick question before we wrap this vlog up. What is one boundary that you're setting to protect your peace this week? Drop it in the comments. I want to cheer you on.